ending of this movie is so sad. I just can't take it.
Oh, your tears smell like garbage.
Oh, man. It smells like a hot toilet at a carnival. Oh.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Straight Jacket Talk, where it's two guys, a girl, and a horror show. My name is Kevin, and I'm joined by a guy who loves tanning beds. It's Nathan.
You can tell by my extremely tanned skin how much I love tanning beds.
I just thought you were vacationing in Boca.
I'm almost see-through.
But you're next to me and Kevin, who are like also extremely pale. So.
It's my Czechoslovakia heritage.
You're Italian.
And I'm Czech.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Ancestry.com. There's a plug. Our new sponsor. I'm also joined by a girl who is still in her goth phase. It's Jill.
It's not a phase anymore, Mom.
We watched Lisa Frankenstein from 2024. It was directed by Zelda Williams, who is famously the daughter of Robin Williams. Is this her first film that she's directed?
I think this is her directorial debut.
Oh.
She did like music videos and other stuff like that before, right? I think.
Probably. I think this is her first feature film.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, because this was also written by Diablo Cody. She should be in our Hall of Fame for Straight Jacket Talk, right? This is the third Diablo Cody movie. Jennifer's
It's my
Body.
Jennifer's Body candle.
She wrote Evil Dead remake, supposedly. And now Lisa Frankenstein.
And Juno.
Juno. But we didn't cover Juno. Not yet, anyways.
That's a different kind of horror right there.
Yeah. The horrors persist.
That might be a different podcast. Lisa Frankenstein stars Kathryn Newton as Lisa, and she is best known for some of the newer horror movies that are out there, like Freaky, which I haven't seen. I really want to see Freaky. I
haven't seen that either.
It's like a Freaky Friday situation with her and Vince Vaughn, who is a serial
killer. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And she was also in Abigail. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen Abigail. Yeah. Jill, you saw her.
Yeah, I wanted to really love it. I did in a way, like it's ridiculous, but I wanted it to be like kind of more serious than it was, because vampires, like you could make that so creepy, but they kind of Megan'd it. You know what I mean?
I like Megan though.
I love Megan, but it doesn't translate as well to what they did in that movie.
You got to succumb to it, right?
To the darkness.
This also stars Cole Sprouse as the creature. Another CW royalty on this episode.
Oh, Riverdale?
Yes, he plays Jughead on Riverdale. I know him best from his child acting career. From The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Yeah, see, that came out well after my time to be watching such shows.
Same, but it was like a guilty pleasure.
I had kids too, so.
yeah.
It's a guilty pleasure for Kevin too, right?
Yeah, and hey, I would like it. It's pretty cool. He also was in Big Daddy, which is one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies. So.
Yeah,
oh
he's the kid from Big Daddy.
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein? All right, I can deal with that. I'll call you Frankenstein.
Yes, Oh, my goodness. Hang on. Mind blown.
Wow.
Yeah. I hate Adam Sandler.
Listen, you step off. Big Daddy is like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh,
it's so
I'm
good.
sorry.
It's so funny. Hippopotamus. God damn it. You give him all the easy ones.
Oh my goodness, we could quote Big Daddy all day.
Oh yeah.
But let's play the budget game. Lisa Frankenstein had a budget of $13 million. Do you know how much it made at the box office?
I know that this didn't do well. I'm gonna guess 20 million, which doesn't quite break even when you consider how much the theaters have to take.
I know this like super bombed, and I don't know the budget.
Lisa Frankenstein had a budget of $13 million.
I'm not going to say what it was on Rotten Tomatoes because you're going to talk about it, but it upset me the same way that I felt upset about the treatment of Jennifer's body.
Yes.
When it came out. So I don't even think it broke even. I'm going to say they like lost money on this. I'm going to say 10 million.
You are the closest, and you missed it by like a hair. This made $9.9 million.
Stop it.
Right. Okay.
I don't get it. I think maybe it was a limited release and then it went on video on demand. Is that how it worked? No?
Nope. It just bombed.
It just bombed.
It did stream like a week after it came out, though, I think.
Which is what they do with movies that bomb.
So like Jill said, currently on Rotten Tomatoes, Lisa Frankenstein has a 52% critic score and an 81% audience score. So I'm wondering, it almost kind of has that same correlation as Jennifer's Body in a way. But what did we think of this movie? Before we go any further, if you could please hit the like and subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because when we have a new video, you'll be the first to know. Isn't that right, Nathan?
Yes, it's a privilege.
This was Jill's pick for an episode. So Jill, why did you choose Lisa Frankenstein for us to review?
So ever since Lisa Frankenstein came out last year, I went to go see it in the theater. I knew I was going to like it because I was looking forward to it. Because you guys know, I love Diablo Cody. I love Jennifer's Body. I love romantic horror. And it came out around Valentine's Day. So it was perfect. Yeah, I was like so insufferable. I would say I'm still pretty insufferable about how much I love this movie. Like my other podcast, It's Lay's podcast, it's like a running joke where they take a shit on me for loving Lisa Frankenstein and watching it like every 2 months. They don't agree. They don't like it as much as I do, which kind of makes me love it more.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I chose it because it's been out for a year now and it still remains one of my favorite movies of all time. I loved it, and every time I watch it, I still love it. This is my fourth watch, I believe. I was watching an interview last night between, I think it was Kathryn Newton, Diablo Cody, and Zelda Williams. Diablo Cody was talking about how Gen Z gets Jennifer's Body, but when Jennifer's Body came out, it super bombed, but it's kind of picked up this like cult following since. So she was very optimistic before it came out that it would do well because of the following that Jennifer's Body now has.
Well, I just am very excited that Gen Z loves Jennifer's Body because I know that they're going to love Lisa Frankenstein. It kind of exists in the same universe.
Watching that just really hurt me inside because knowing now that it super flopped and the same thing happened, I was reading reviews and I really don't understand why people don't like it because I don't know. It's just very much my cup of tea. It's funny. It's witty. It's girly. It makes me laugh. And I just love everything Diablo Cody does. I love her like little funny one-liners. That's in every single one of her movies. And yeah, I just want to talk about it. And I want to know why people don't like it. But Nathan, what was your first impression?
I had a lot of fun with this movie. I thought it was funny. I enjoyed the physical comedy. I think they just called him the Creature, right?
Creature.
The amount of personality he's able to have without actually speaking is pretty great.
What do you think?
I like this movie. I don't really love this movie. I don't think it's on the same level as like Jennifer's Body, to be honest with you. And I think part of it is I didn't feel like I connected with Lisa very much. That could be a matter of who this movie is aimed at, because it's definitely not aimed at nearly 40-year-old men. And if there's any demographic I understand the least, it's teenage girls. But I still liked it. I just feel like in order to love this movie, you sort of have to love Lisa. And I kind of just didn't. I didn't quite
connect with her.
No, I just didn't connect with her. I didn't understand why her personality changed very suddenly the moment that the creature came into her life. I love Carla Gugino in this movie, though. She is incredible. She's one of my favorite actresses. A member of the Flaniverse, I guess you'd call it.
Yes.
Mike Flanagan. Amazing in Fall of the House of Usher and
Gerald's Game. Yeah.
And amazing in this as a really mean mom character.
Do you know what happens to people who act out? They wind up in the loony bin.
She's over the top, but you believe her. The whole thing where she calls herself an intuitive person just made me clench up inside.
I'm an IP. Intuitive person.
Like, oh, they're making fun of people who call themselves empaths. I hate that. I hate
She's
that.
an IP.
She's an IP. Yeah. If somebody calls himself an empath, just they're hiding their own narcissism. But and usually they're closet Republicans, by the way. But I liked it. I didn't love it. I'm definitely not on Jill's level on this one, but I had fun with it.
I just wanted to kind of tack on to what Nathan was just saying about the target audience. And that makes a lot of sense because I think, like you said, it's aimed for teenage girls. And I don't know, I feel like there's a whole lot of Lisa inside of me from just like my teenage years. So that's probably why I love it so much and I relate so hard to it. It's every teenage like weird girl can relate to this.
I think it's really peaceful and quiet. I do wax rubbings of all the tombstones. I have a favorite.
One of the things, I'm gonna get really like fucking sassy.
She's
here.
Lydia Dietz. It's the thing. So in a lot of ways. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It made me really emotional every time I watch this because, you know, she goes through trauma and grief and she has that like traumatic mutism where she can't speak. And I think a big part of this movie is like her learning to speak again. And that correlates with her relationship with the creature. So it's more than just like a romantic thing. It's like she's finding herself and helping him find himself and they become happy together. And I think that's just like, dude, I'm gonna fucking cry. I think that's the sweetest thing ever. I love this. I love this movie, and it's so nice to see something like that.
I get you, and I don't want to piss on your parade, but isn't herself a bit of a sadist?
What do you mean?
Well, herself tends to murder people.
Oh, yeah. One thing that I saw was that this is a coming of rage movie. And like Jennifer's Body, you know, bad things happen to Jennifer and she gets revenge on those people and takes back her power. And I don't know, I'm really into villains, especially like morally gray characters. So I love that. I'm like, you go, girl, kill them. So same here, even though, you know, these people probably didn't deserve death. They didn't.
I don't know. The mom, maybe.
I'm not saying they don't deserve
Janet.
death. I'm just saying that the herself she grows into, I guess I just didn't like as much as you did because
A murderess.
it almost felt like this should be the downfall of somebody in a way. I don't know. I felt like it was handled better in Jennifer's Body than it was in this one. You know what I'm saying? Because like she was actually became a demon.
Yeah.
You know. So.
And also she dies.
Yeah.
But Lisa is like resurrected and has a happy ending.
True.
So you're probably not as happy or satisfied with that. Sorry, I should have explained because, you know, she did bad things. She murdered people. Maybe there should be some level of retribution.
I think what it is too is it's like a taking back the power movie because they show us the scene early on where she's in the closet as her mom is murdered.
Her mom told her to run and hide, and so she did. And then the guy axe murdered her mom, and she heard the whole thing.
Oh my God.
And she's like a helpless victim, and this is like she's not gonna be that anymore. Like she's taking a stance and changing who she is. Might not be what you agree with or want for the character.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time explaining myself because I didn't mind that she killed people. I'm not saying that like she should have been punished more for killing people. I'm just saying that the herself that she was finding, I didn't find as likable as you did, I think, is what it came down to.
I think like maybe this is kind of a sticking point for people, is that the whole movie she kind of suffers and she finds this kind of fleeting happiness, but then she dies. But the whole time she wants to die, she kind of embraces death, you know? And Jennifer's body, Jennifer, you know, doesn't really have a choice, but Lisa just like kind of fucks her life up to the point where she doesn't have another choice. Like, it's either you're going to go to prison or you're going to kill yourself and see what happens after that. So I think that's probably hard for people to kind of swallow as an ending, maybe.
Yeah, I wasn't really fond of the ending either.
We'll get to the ending.
Yeah. Kevin, have you given your thoughts yet? Actually?
Yeah, Kevin, let's hear it.
No. I like this discussion because one of the things I had read was some fan theory was that the creature doesn't exist at all. It's just a figment of Lisa's imagination.
Oh, dang.
She, through him, finds like love within herself. You know, like you said, Jill, she starts talking again and really kind of finds who she is with the help of this creature and like takes back her power and things like that. The other thing too, though, with that is there is like a mental illness there with her, and it could be created by the death of her mother and the trauma she suffered from that. And maybe that goes too to what you were saying, Nathan, how like there almost is a pretty quick change how when the creature's introduced.
Yeah, it's like the creature gives her a dress and all of a sudden she's Goth Madonna.
Hey!
It just felt strangely fast.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think it's a very good nod to like those classic 80s movies, like the John Hughes movies. It's like all of a sudden they're just bam in school, like, whoa, I made a change. We know that in like real life, obviously it takes a long time to make that change, but I think it's like that funny wink to like the 80s nostalgia we're throwing this at you.
Yeah, I guess I can get that.
I kind of agree with, was it Nathan who said something about like mental illness?
I think it was Kevin.
It was Kevin. Sorry.
That's
Kevin.
okay. I don't have to take credit.
As a mentally ill individual since forever, I think that also kind of goes with it. Like the fact that she's so dependent on this other person, I think that kind of shows the mentally ill side of her and how quickly she like switches.
Right.
When she gets like more angry and she just is very self-destructive. So I see a lot of that in her as well, which also it makes her more difficult to kind of relate to because she's so self-sabotaging.
Yeah,
for sure.
But that's why I relate to her.
I was thinking the reason why this didn't land so well for a lot of people, I think it's kind of like The Craft in many ways from the 90s, where it's like, it is for the weirdos and the people who are different. I'm a weirdo, so I can say that.
I like The Craft a lot.
I'm just saying, it's like, it's that kind of like outside society, outside the realms of, it's harder, yes, for me and Nathan to kind of get in the mindset of a teenage girl for sure. But I think where I connect with this is just being different and on the outside and strange and weird and dressing differently and things like that. So like that's where my connection is with the character, I think. For me, this reminds me so much. I don't know if you've seen the movie, and it just hit me recently of why I like this movie is My Boyfriend's Back.
Never seen it.
You never saw it? Jill, have you seen it? No. I think, I want to say it's an early 90s movie. It could be late 80s, but it has this same tone, which I really like. It's like that.
I like the tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this kind of comedy, like Back from the Dead kind of vibe. And I think for me, like, it's not a movie I'm like super like going out of my way to watch. Like when me and Jill first started talking about horror and stuff, she recommended this movie to me, and I probably wouldn't have seen it if she didn't recommend it to me, because it was just one of those movies that, like, I was like, like, I'm not sure. But once I watched it, I'm like, whoa, like, I like this. I'm into the tone. I'm into the atmosphere. I'm into the story.
Yeah.
Like, it pulled me in, but it's definitely not one of those movies that I personally would go out of my way to watch ever. But I like that. Like, I like being recommended something that I wouldn't necessarily see, and enjoying it, because I think when it hits you and you like it, it's almost that much more, you know, it feels like you're broadening your, what you like a little bit, I guess.
I don't want to shit on the movie the whole time because I like this movie. I do like this movie.
Girl, we know you like the movie.
It's just that I had some issues, and it seems to be that some of those issues are what Jill likes about the movie.
Says a lot.
I don't want to talk badly about it the entire time.
No, it's okay.
You know, so.
I know I'm a trash can. And for the other trash can people out there like me, if you like trash and you like artful trash and you're unapologetic about it, watch Lisa Frankenstein. If you liked Jennifer's Body or Juno, watch Lisa Frankenstein.
I can see the definite correlation, though, in writing, especially from Jennifer's Body. Could you also see that with, like, their dialogue and things like that?
And I also heard that Gina Marzak dedicated her unborn child to Satan. And that's why the baby has to wear a helmet now.
I love the dialogue because it's like they come up with words and expressions, and it feels like real lived-in talk, I think.
One-liners all over the place.
It's creative, too. It's not like the same old bland stuff. It really feels like these are these characters and how they talk.
Yeah. I love it so much. That's like one of my favorite things about all of those movies is that she has such a unique way of creating those kind of personalities. And they're very distinct. Like, they're all different. I was actually watching Juno today because it's been a minute since I saw that.
I've never seen Juno, to be honest with you.
God.
I know that's like not good. I should be seeing that movie. But
it's so good. You would love it, I feel.
Yeah, I think you would like
Probably.
Juno. Yeah.
Same thing, though. I noticed the one-liners and just like the humor, but also the phones. Diablo Cody loves a good novelty phone.
Oh, yeah.
Like the shoe phone in this
The shoe phone and Lisa Frankenstein.
That's my dad's shoe phone. We got it for free with a subscription to Sports Illustrated.
The hamburger phone in Juno, which is iconic. And in Jennifer's Body, there's not like a cool landline, but it's the cunty pink like flip phone.
Yeah.
Right.
From the 2000s. So you know
I was
what?
wondering you were going with this with Jennifer's Body, but I get you. Yeah.
Slay with those phones.
That's awesome. Man, I didn't even pick up on that. I thought there was like a cool detail in this, though. I thought they were just trying to like lean into that like 80s vibe. And I want to talk about the 80s vibe in this movie because it feels different than a lot of other movies that try to do the 80s and the nostalgia thing. Like, it feels like it's 80s, but it feels modern at the same time. Do you feel that or no?
I felt like they were using the 80s as sort of an excuse to do a little bit of a Tim Burton-y type thing. You know, like the colorful pastel neighborhood in Edward Scissorhands sort of deal. And I liked that a lot. I really liked the look of the movie. The pastels and the bisexual lighting in her room and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Jill, what did you think of the 80s vibe? Did you think it was modernized a little bit too, or was that just me? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it seems like they like
it had
blended
it. Like a kind of a modern, I don't know, it's very timeless, but at the same time, the style of it, like, I just want to talk about the house. The interior of the house, like the bathroom with like the shells and like, you know, that dusty like pink and blue. I was like, this is so gorgeous and ugly, and I love it. I love every little detail.
It fits Janet's personality perfectly.
It does. Yeah.
So, there's so much personality. Even the outside of the house is gorgeous.
Yeah.
But kind of like what you were saying, it was very Edward Scissorhands. I was watching an interview, and I know this was inspired by Edward Scissorhands, but especially the creature. The creature was based off of
Edward Scissorhands?
Edward Scissorhands type of character.
I can
he was
see
doing
that.
a little bit of like a Johnny Depp impression. It wasn't the same. It wasn't like a rip-off, but you could see the influence of it for sure.
Wow, I can totally see that now that you said that.
Edward Scissorhands is like one of my favorite movies. I
Me
love
too.
it so much.
All time.
I was terrified of Edward Scissorhands as a kid.
Really? I was attracted to him. Always. Still am.
Well, I mean, I think he was supposed to be oddly attractive to like goth chicks, to be honest. I think they aimed his existence straight at you, is what...
He was made for you.
Yeah.
Give me those scissor hands, baby.
I was thinking the Tim Burton influence on this for me is a lot of those black and white art scenes that they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I love those in between. I wanted to see more of those too. Like I feel like they didn't double down on those. Yeah, they really were.
Yeah, I was hoping she was going to like trip her way through the whole movie because because I loved that opening trip scene so much with the, the distorted faces, and then she goes into that black and white it's like a Corpse Bride looking sort of thing.
Corpse Bride. Yeah. That's what I was thinking too, like especially that kind of dream sequence and stuff where it like the creatures in there with her, and it was very like that tone. I thought those were really cool. But that would have been cool, too, to see her, like, have a more, like, trippy scene and go on that journey.
I love that spooky romantic shit. The tripping scene, I really love that also because you could see, like, the little things that inspired her dream from, like, the day before. Like the Pabst Blue Ribbon or, so it was really kind of like reality where you have dreams and they're just kind of nonsensical.
Right.
But it was fun to watch. So it was just like very like dreamlike and surreal.
I thought that that PCP where she got dosed there.
Poor girl just went from Pepsi free to PCP.
It felt like it played out like a real scene a little bit. Like just how, because first off, what's his name? Michael Trent's girlfriend there, she was fucked up for putting that shit in her drink, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
She was such a bitch.
Yeah, I hated that girl. And then she tried to get her in trouble later, too.
Yeah, it was kind of, what was her name?
No idea.
Tamara. Or Tamara, one of the two.
Hey, Tamara.
It was kind of interesting to me that the main villain, I don't want to call her the main villain, the main like female antagonist in her school to Lisa was like another goth chick.
Yes, I was thinking
that was
too.
So interesting to me. I thought that was a cool choice, that it wasn't just like the goths versus the cheerleaders. They're not basing the goodness of somebody's personality on what style,
what class
they're wearing. Yeah, exactly.
I love that. And also I think it's a little more realistic because I can also relate to that. Because when I was in high school, there was me and another goth girl.
Oh no.
And we had this like unspoken beef because
there can only be one goth girl.
There can only be like one, like goth girl.
Oh my God.
But
could you imagine with the number of goth kids in our school if they all beefed with each other like that, Kevin?
We had a lot of goth kids.
it's girls especially because you don't want to, step on any toes. And now I think we're cool. So, but I totally like it's a real thing. You're more likely to beef with them.
Even to the kid there, the slimy kid, Doug, just how he was acting. And I hate to say it, it felt like very real world a little bit because he
very much did. Yeah.
Acting like the good guy.
Okay, let's find somewhere for you to sit for a bit, yeah? Does that feel good? When you can't stop what you started, it's the rules.
And even I was like, oh, this dude's like being real friendly, like helping her out with her hair and stuff. And oh, God.
Slimy.
Yeah.
He might have deserved what he got, too. I don't know about dying, but like getting his hand chopped off, maybe.
No, I didn't feel bad for really any of the victims in this movie. Any of the people killed by Lisa and the creature felt appropriate who died.
Can we talk about the dynamic of Janet, Dale, and Taffy, their relationship there? Dale is Lisa's biological father.
I don't like him at all. I hate him so much.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty coward type of guy, right? And he's married to Janet, who's like alpha, like
oh my God,
horrible person. And then you have
he's
Taffy.
Just so passive. It's like he's doing harm through inaction. I couldn't stand him. I just wanted to smack him. Like, do something. Express an emotion. Something.
Even the way he was like eating, what was he eating? Like cereal or whatever? Grape nuts, right? And it's just like...
Yeah, stop eating the grape nuts and act like a father.
Dale, you need to stop munching the grape nuts and be a father right now.
Excuse me, bitch?
I hate to say it, but like I found it weird that like Taffy was calling him daddy like right away, right? They had just gotten remarried.
She was a suck up for real.
But I liked their relationship on screen because it did seem like there was a genuine father-daughter connection there with them, you know. And I gotta say, maybe this might be one of those me liking bad characters again moment.
Uh-oh.
I really like Taffy. Like, I thought I know she slept with Michael or whatever. We're all kids. Like,
I don't like Taffy, but I don't think this is one of those things where like you're liking a obviously completely unlikable character. Like, I get it. She's very positive and bubbly, and she actually does want to include Lisa in her life, despite the fact that she is from an entirely different world, as she says to what's his face in bed.
Even if we're from different worlds.
That's what makes it magic. You're just so cute.
Michael
Trent there. Yeah.
I get it. I just, if I was around somebody with that personality in real life, I would have a hard time. I mean, I wouldn't do anything or say anything, but I would just not enjoy their presence.
We all need somebody like Taffy, right, Jill?
I actually love Taffy.
Oh, okay.
I think she's a very nuanced character because normally when someone's bad, in a movie, they're like super evil, kind of like Janet. But I love Janet because she's hilarious. But Taffy is a wonderful character because it's more realistic for people sometimes to kind of hurt you without knowing that they hurt you.
Lisa, you have no idea how scary this is. You don't have to worry about anything because your mom's already been murdered.
And they mean well. Yeah. I think she's just kind of ignorant. I don't know. She conforms to society, but she still makes brilliant little remarks. Like, I love the witty comeback to the Oscar Wilde quote.
Oscar Wilde said to define is the limit.
Okay. Well, Oscar the Grouch said, scram.
Well, Oscar the Grouch said scram. And
yes.
Stuff like that.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
And I feel like she genuinely looks out for Lisa. Like, she has her best interest at heart, even though she kind of does fuck her over and hurt her by sleeping with Michael. It kind of is revealed to us that it was like unintentional. Like, they met up at the party and it just kind of and a connection formed. So I don't think it was malicious. I think it's just a thing that happened, unfortunately. But I like their relationship, and I like that they still have love for each other at the end, and they still consider Lisa considers her a sister and everything. I thought it was really sweet.
I love that conversation that Lisa has with Taffy, even though Taffy's like in PTSD from what just happened.
Thank you for being nice to me when no one else was. I did notice. You really actually wanted me to be your sister.
The one-sided conversation.
Yeah. I thought that was a genuinely good moment in this movie where like even Lisa's recognizing like, hey, I fucked up here. You know, I was being the the hard one when you were just trying to be an actual sister to me and like, you know, accept me and things like that. So I thought that was a cool scene to watch play out, because usually you don't see those kind of like admissions play out. You know, you see some other stuff happens and they never get to talk about it. But I thought that was a cool like moment in a movie. Can we talk about the penis chop scene?
Is on the wings of love with a flying high.
That poor guy didn't deserve that.
Whoa.
That's the one thing that was done. It was like, oh, they didn't deserve that.
Nathan, I got to ask you. So when she walks in and she sees Michael in bed with Taffy, and then the creature comes up from behind her, in that moment, did you realize what he was there to do?
No,
Yeah, I didn't
had no
either.
clue. Honestly, when the penis chop scene happened, I was like, okay, I don't know. You're not John Waters. I don't know if you can get away with this. But then when I realized why he had done it, all of a sudden it sort of became genius to me. You know what I'm saying? Like when he looks down and goes,
Why didn't you tell me?
and she goes, oh. All of a sudden it was like, maybe you are worthy of a John Waters moment.
It was such a good payoff, I thought, because
it was great. It was hilarious.
Throughout the movie,
it's sad. Again, he didn't
Right.
deserve it, but you know.
But throughout the movie, he's trying to get some of his lost body parts back, right? Like the ear from Janet. He keeps wanting that fucking hand back so he can play piano, probably, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then obviously the penis. Jill, did you know he was in there to get the penis when you first saw it?
No, and it kind of gets me by surprise because I feel like he's there to kind of protect Lisa, and then the penis chop is just like a bonus thing. But yeah, he definitely wanted that. One thing you did say though, like the different body parts. When I was watching it last night, I was like, okay, so he took Janet's ear.
Yeah.
And what she did to Lisa was talk down to her all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so Lisa's like listening to Janet like criticize her and blame her for stuff all the time. So he took her ear. The creepy guy, I forget his fucking name.
Doug.
She took his hand because he touched her without consent, right?
Yeah,
so it's kind of like got this revenge thing to it. And then Michael like literally fucked her over because that's what she went there for.
Yeah.
She went to offer her body to him or whatever it was she said.
I'm just gonna do it tomorrow. I'm just gonna offer my body to him.
And so yeah, it's like every part that he gets, he's also helping Lisa to like avenge something.
Yeah.
In a symbolic way.
Yeah.
I gotta say too, I really love the foreshadowing when she was bringing Doug into the woods there, and he was like, "Oh, you don't want to hold my hand?"
You don't want to hold my hand?
Oh, I will. But first I want to take you somewhere that's very meaningful to me.
Oh shit! I didn't realize.
And then after he chops, the creature chops his hand off, she screams, "I told you I'd hold your stupid fucking hand!"
What? I thought that was a really cool thing to say.
And then the creature just looks at her like, And she's like, "What? I thought it was a cool thing to say."
I love how he didn't
That
talk.
was great.
Like he just groaned and stuff. It was like really good.
Yeah, like I said, I love how much personality he manages to fit into that character without ever saying a word. Like he can be sarcastic without saying anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like sarcastic grunts, happy grunts, angry grunts.
Cole Sprouse did mime training. To prepare for this movie.
That makes sense.
He gives me like real big Lurch vibes from the Addams Family.
Yeah.
And we know how much you like Lurch. What's his name? Lurch there. He dies.
I'm kind of attracted Oh my God. Yes. I'm really into like monsters.
Yeah.
And he's got the monster vibes down for sure in this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
My favorite scene of him is actually like right after this when she's sewing the guy's penis on and he's like
Very proud.
Yes, the proud yeah.
I gotta ask, how did he lose his dick? I mean, is this rigor mortis?
Didn't all of his parts just kind of rot off? I don't think there was any like story beat about how his parts. I mean, that body's been dead a long time.
Yeah.
Stuff just rots off, you know. So,
unfortunately,
I was just wondering. That was my question. Like, why is the dude's dick off? I guess that makes sense, right? The ending. What's your thoughts on the ending? Nathan, you said you weren't a big fan of how this ended. What specifically didn't you like?
I don't know. I felt like it romanticized suicide in a way that I wasn't
it
a
does.
big fan of at all.
Make sure you set it to max bronze.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, okay. You know, hundreds of years ago, we didn't think about that sort of thing too much. It felt like it all happened so suddenly. Like, I know she sort of says she wants to die at the beginning of the movie, but for her to want to die and then sort of find a reason to live and find herself and then end up committing suicide anyway, it felt off. It didn't work for me, especially since it's a real nasty, ugly way to commit suicide. I do not want to burn alive. So I don't know. I wasn't really a big fan of that.
First of all, I need to request a side-by-side of Chapel Roan and Kathryn Newton, especially when she's in that like full body cast sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look alike. So I thought she was really serving in the bandages.
You liked her in the bandages.
I just looked at her all the time and I was like, Chapel Roan, good to see you here.
Can I ask real quick, that ending, was that like a dream sequence or that was like a real life sequence? Like he dug her up and
her grave got hit by lightning just like his did.
Oh.
You can see the burns on the back of the grave.
Oh, okay.
In the scene with the dad and Taffy.
Okay.
Dale and Taffy.
Very cool. Okay. I must have missed that. I saw like the grave marking, right? It said
beloved wife.
Yeah.
And there was peach rings.
Yeah. So sweet. I love a romantic man. And I love that the only time we hear this man speak is at the very end when he's reading poetry.
Oh, Mary dear, that you were here, with your brown eyes bright and clear, and your sweet voice like a bird singing love to its lone mate in the ivy bower disconsolate.
Poetry written by Percy Shelley, Mary Shelley's husband. So it really fits into the Frankenstein sort of vibe. And also the poem that he was reading was what Percy had written for Mary. So it is kind of, I don't know. I'm a nerd. I liked it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like the little touch that Zelda Williams did with the suspenders on the creature for for her
Mork
father.
and Mindy, right?
Yeah, that was a cool little touch. I liked it. I mean, I don't know how else this would have played out in theory because they killed a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
I kind of thought the appropriate ending was the one they teased and then didn't do, which was it made sense for her to have to kill him.
Yeah.
And then he gets, you know, all the blame for the murders and such. And you'd have to rewrite the Taffy scene in the bed a little bit for that to work, I suppose.
Yeah.
Where you could just suspend disbelief and have it be like Taffy's like, oh no, I saw it. He did it, not you. You saved me or something. To me, that sort of follows the Edward Scissorhands ending a little bit, except I know Edward Scissorhands doesn't die, but his freedom is sort of sacrificed at the end. And I felt like that would have been a more appropriate way to end it. Like, she has found herself a little bit. She has more confidence in herself. I don't want to say she's moving on from the death of her mom, but she's less affected by it. And you still get your tragedy. You still get your romantic tragedy. She still has to do something kind of terrible. And then you get rid of the whole romanticizing suicide problem. So
I'd be so mad if that was the actual ending because I ship them so hard. I'm like, I want them. They helped each other and it was just this nice journey. And now, they have to pay for their actions. So it was nice to see that, everybody who's living kind of got something out of it, a little bit of retribution, but she also got happiness. For once, it is romanticizing suicide, but I don't know. I know that's problematic, but I also kind of like it. So
no, I get it. My issue isn't even necessarily that it's problematic. It just to me, it didn't feel satisfying. I like plenty of problematic shit. So
I also feel though, like if they did do the Edward Scissorhands type of treatment, I feel like it would have garnered more people saying, oh, it's so unoriginal. They're ripping off of Edward Scissorhands. Because I see a lot of reviews where people are like, this is ripping off all the 80s movies or whatever.
I get you. I didn't feel like it ripped off much of anything. I felt like it paid homage to a lot of that stuff. Somebody called it weird science for freaky goth girls or something like that. And I don't know. I don't see that.
That was the inspiration, by the way.
Yeah, she was named after Lisa, right, from Weird Science.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but the chick they create in Weird Science is traditionally hot as hell, and this is like a monster guy that is attractive to only women like Jill.
I mean, he looked pretty good at the end. How did he get more human?
that tanning bed, honey.
Yeah.
Except it'll actually just give you skin cancer and you'll look like Donald Trump.
Dang.
Oop.
I think, it's a love story, right? Like, I think that's, for me, at the end of the day, it's a love story. And you don't get the title, Lisa Frankenstein. Like, she turns into a Frankenstein at the end of the movie, pretty much. I don't know. I thought it worked. It's never a satisfying ending, I feel like, for me anyways, in these type of movies, because they are star-crossed lovers, going back to Romeo and Juliet. Like, it's not easy, and it doesn't have an easy ending either. But I think this gives, like, if you are rooting for them to be eternally together, this does give you that happy ending.
It does. I get you. The soundtrack of this fucking movie is incredible, by the way.
Thanks.
Jesus and Mary Chain with that Head-On song, which, by the way, I thought was a Pixies song because the Pixies covered it 2 years later on Trompe Le Monde. I didn't realize that was a Jesus and Mary Chain song.
I didn't know that either.
And then there was the actual Pixies needle drop with Wave of Mutilation.
Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say that was in this. There was also what was it? The JoJo, right? Zelda Williams directed her music video, like you talked about at the beginning.
Right.
So, I mean, there was a banger soundtrack. I think a lot of these, like, 80s nostalgia things always hit you with, like, the big 80s songs, right?
Yeah, but this is giving you, like, post-punk.
Yeah.
And the cool 80s stuff.
Yeah.
And she talks about how much she loves The Cure. And it's like, yes, I love The Cure so much.
But not that kind of Cure.
I have The Cure.
Ooh.
Oh. No. It's not that kind of cure. It's like it's a band. They can't make you better. I mean, they can, but emotionally.
Yeah.
Emotionally. I really like that quote, too.
It was a funny quote. I will say, though, if you're hurting, The Cure is not going to cure you emotionally. It's more of a wallow in your sadness sort of music, if you ask me. But
it is. I'm discovering that I am the problem because I love wallowing in sadness, listening to that shit.
Listening to like The Cure. Yeah.
I love Suicide.
My daughter was sad tonight, and she's like, I just need some music to listen to. And I said, hey, try The Cure out. And she listened to like a minute, and she was like, this doesn't fly for me.
No, this is going to make me more sad, which is what The Cure does.
And then I realized, like, maybe it was a problem too for me.
Yeah, no, that's what I always ended up doing, especially in my teenage years. It's like, oh, I'm sad. I'd better listen to the music that's going to make me hurt the fucking most. Whereas most people go, I'm kind of sad. Maybe I should listen to like some jock jams. Perk me up.
Like dancing.
Yeah. Also, the creature was wearing a Joy Division shirt at one point. Mm-hmm. You don't actually see it, but you see the font in about like half the word. And
I think Violent Femmes too. He was wearing
on the
at
shirt.
one point. Yeah.
I love that outfit, the blazer and the band shirt and the pants. I was like, yes, I would bang this monster.
The creature's fashion show was pretty
awesome.
It was great. The
when
pink robe.
When he comes out in that dress.
I love it. No? Just give it a chance.
And she's like, yes, this is the best. And he looks at her like, and just goes back in.
Such a classic 80s trope, though, too, of the montage.
100%. Yeah.
I love it. I love how it hits those tones. The tone is perfect. I want to live in this tone. I want to live in this movie. I want to sit on that couch with Janet there, have some grape nuts.
And then Janet dies and it's fine.
Inpatient. Lockdown. Special socks. Where a disturbed person like you belongs.
She's a bitch.
Yeah. She's a bitch.
Is there anything else you want to talk
Carlo
about?
Gugino's hot as hell, though, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Lisa was hot. I love the Madonna look and stuff.
Yeah.
I was very, very into that look. So I thought that was sexy.
Same. I was going to say, I love all the outfits. Just like another part of the style of this movie, like the hair, the makeup, kind of the more unhinged she gets, the better she looks, like the more dramatic that black dress is. And I don't know, I freaking
to the point where
love
she
it.
ends up wearing a Halloween costume.
That's my costume for Miss Tri-State Teen Halloween.
Yeah.
Yes. it's perfect. I saw also in the interview I watched, it was either Zelda or Diablo. They asked someone what they thought the message of the movie was at like a screening, and they're like, you can be really unhinged and people will still love you. And I thought that was funny.
That's kind of like the sexiest part of her. Why are the crazy ones so hot? Why?
Danger.
Arousal.
I think I need a Michael penis.
Maybe.
I will say about that whole scene with Michael there with Taffy and all that. Mm-hmm. It was a little weird to hear her go like amateur psychologist on him.
You like cool movies and music and stuff, but only for you. And you don't want your girlfriend to like cool stuff. Do you know how uncool that is?
You're not making any sense.
You like cool things. You like cool movies, but you don't want your girlfriend. And it's like, what? You don't know any of that shit about him. You just made that up in your head and started spouting it.
Okay, first of all, it's really funny that we hate and like the opposite things, because this is another one of the things that I really liked. When she started saying that, I was like, oh my God, yeah, fuck yeah, girl, because that is so true. You date like a cool guy sometimes who's just like a chode, and they want to gatekeep like cool things, and you're not allowed to be like cooler than them. So I've experienced that before. So
okay, I'm not saying
even if it wasn't there, like you're saying, like
No.
I'm not saying it's impossible that that's who he is, but she doesn't know that. She's talked to the man 3 times in her entire life. I'm saying.
There's a conversation earlier in the movie where she's in the car with Taffy and she's talking about like how he's not into sports, he's the cerebral type, and she's already built him up in her head of like what he is and what he's into and things. I mean, so like you're saying, she doesn't know that for sure, but like
she doesn't
it's
know
in
the
there.
guy.
Yeah.
He's in a wheelchair.
Does he have more of a basketball bod or a football bod?
He doesn't play sports. He's cerebral.
He's in a wheelchair?
Cerebral.
Another classic Taffy.
I mean, that was good. Yeah, that was a great line.
I still get it though, because also embodying that weird girl thing is that you have a crush on like the dumb like poetic guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's that. When he had his line where she was like, "You know my name," and he's like, "We're being educated within the same walls of asbestos."
Why do you know my name?
Well, we're both currently being educated in the same walls of asbestos.
I was like, oh my God. Like I would have like
you would have loved him.
crawled over this man in high school. But looking back at it, I'm like, oh my God, he's such an asshole. But like, you know, I'm into it. So yeah, I thought it was like really on point. And then also the fact that guys like that, not everyone, but like I've experienced it. I see the point that they're making is that they prefer girls who are more like conventionally pretty or like normal, who conform to society. And then you're like, I thought, you know, we're similar. We should,
we should
have
connect.
something. Sometimes you get like led on a little bit. And that's what happened.
The dude
to
with
Lisa.
the Joy Division shirt is dating the chick who listens to Britney Spears or whatever. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that she didn't know that.
She did. It's real to her, damn it.
Well, it is real to her because even if it's not there, like, no, you're right. Like, she's like projecting a little bit also, you know? And it's like she's kind of irrationally angry about it because of that. And because of that, she also lashes out a little bit at Taffy.
I don't have feelings for you like that.
Why? Because I'm not sweet and simple like her?
Kind of like insinuating that Taffy's dumb and he shouldn't like her. So it's like a kind of complicated thing that like totally exists in the real world.
She has more of a right to be angry at Taffy, though, than she does at Michael, in my opinion. She told Taffy before Taffy hooked up with him,
right,
that she was into him.
Right.
Whereas this guy, again, she's talked to him 3 times. He doesn't really have an obligation to her.
She just romanticizes him the same way that she does with Death.
And why the fuck did she just walk in his house?
We could just excuse
unhinged.
that. Yeah.
She's there to give up her body, man.
Yeah.
I mean, come on in.
If you're going to do that, you got to,
Gotta go all the way.
You got to go.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't like REO Speedwagon.
And I can't fight this feeling anymore. I've forgotten what I started fighting for.
You don't like REO Speedwagon? I'm not a huge fan either.
Oh, it's really hilarious when the lights flicker as Lisa comes. From the vibrator.
I like how no one notices too. Like they're just
the dad kind of does a little, and then just goes back to living his life.
To Lulu. I just want to kind of piggyback off of what I was saying earlier. I forgot to mention something. So when I was talking about how, the vengeance, acts of vengeance, and the body parts kind of correlate, and also going back to the fact that the creature and Lisa are just there for each other and help build each other up. The fact that he uses those same body parts that she helps attach to him, which I think is a really cute bonding moment, is that he then uses those body parts to achieve that thing that, other people failed her on. Like he listens to her more than anybody else. And she gets confidence And he gets confidence every time she helps him with like a body part, you know, and he becomes kind of more human.
Right.
Then the hand, he's like playing music for her. And each time this happens, they just like their bond really deepens and you can see them like slowly falling for each other.
Right.
And then the last one is the penis. And, you know, she didn't want to die a virgin. So I like it.
For sure. I like to, when they finally do have sex, like it cuts to that black and white scene. It's very romanticized, you know, it's done tastefully and everything. And I think it fits the movie perfectly. I didn't even think about that till Jill had brought it up, like with the body part connection and stuff. It's time for quote or kill. We're going to give you our favorite quote of the movie or our favorite kill or both. I mean, there's so many one-liners in this movie. So many one-liners.
There's a lot. Yeah.
I mean, we talked about like some of them with the like, you know, he's cerebral. He's in a wheelchair. Like just, I love those
That's the
know.
thing about this movie with the one-liners is that was going to be my favorite quote because there's so many one-liners. I can just move on to a different one.
There's so many. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry to steal your one. I was trying to give an example of like the one-liners.
We talked about it a while ago already, so, you know.
My favorite quote, though, I'm going to go with is the note that she gives the creature at the end and says, "Death is temporary. I'll love you forever." Because I do think it is a love story overall. And I don't know why, but like notes, signs, things like that, they catch me in movies, and I really like just seeing written words like that are powerful on paper, and that they don't necessarily read, you know, because like if he had read it out, then I would have been like, like I just like that the camera focuses on it so we can read it ourselves. My kill, I'm actually going to go with Lisa's because I think it's the most impactful. Like Nathan said earlier, burning to death is not a way I want to go. Especially in a tanning bed. Like, holy shit. That would be brutal. Can you imagine the smell? I can't imagine. Nathan, how about you?
My favorite kill is Doug. He's the character I hate the most. I just don't like that sniveling little thing he does, and then he assaults her, which, you know, I don't like him at all. And how he chops off her hand and then has that line, "I told you I'd hold your fucking hand, stupid fucking hand." I really loved that. And then as he's running away, it's just this casual sort of axe throw.
Right.
And then afterwards, they're both like, "Ooh." And that just cracked me up. I thought that was pretty great. My line is, Janet says,
"But I will not coddle her. No one coddled me when my dad blew up in Da Nang."
"No one coddled me when my dad blew up in Da Nang." I don't know why, but that one just got me.
I laughed out loud at that moment. I was like, holy shit.
I guess we never talked about the smelly tears gag. Every time the creature cries, she starts going, "Oh my God, your tears smell so bad." That cracked me up as well. So.
I love it. She goes, "When you cry, it smells like a hot toilet at a carnival."
Oh no, God damn it, when you cry, it smells like a hot toilet at a carnival.
I always cringe though, because she takes like the nice pillow and is like jamming it in his face.
Yeah, it's like that pillow is not going to smell good anymore.
It's Janet's pillow.
You're right.
Yeah, that's
Fuck
true.
Janet. It's her
Fuck
pillow.
her. Fuck her precious moments cake stand.
100%.
Fuck her mirror.
Anyway, yeah, fuck that mirror. Anyway, what do you got, Jill?
For the kill, I'm going to say Michael because it's so fucking funny.
Is on the wings of love. On the wings of love.
It's clearly a dildo that's like being tossed and you see the shadow.
Yeah.
That's what makes it even funnier to me. It's just like, it's so absurd. And there's like blood spurting everywhere and he just slumps over dead and Taffy is screaming and there's feathers everywhere. It's just so ridiculous.
Yes.
I just think it's a great scene It's funny, but it's also like pretty dark.
The feathers were like the cherry on top of that scene, especially
Yeah.
how they get stuck to her, like when she's covered
Yeah.
in blood and stuff.
Yeah.
I always think of Home Alone. Like, why are you dressed like a chicken?
Why the hell are you dressed like a chicken?
And like you, Kevin, one of my favorite lines, and I remember reading the letter when I was watching it in the theater, and tears were just like fucking streaming down my face. I was just like sobbing. 'Cause death is temporary. I'll love you forever. It's so corny, but I love that corny shit.
Feed it
Love
to
it.
me. Feed it to
Feed
me.
it to me. One more quote though.
Yeah.
I quote this all the time. I don't know what it is, but when she gets in the car and she's like so ticked off, I kind of love her when she's just like being ridiculous. And she gets in the car and she's like, shit is transpiring, man.
Shit is transpiring, man.
And I say that all the time when like things aren't going right in my life. Just
Right.
it hits.
I like how that's your quote on your Letterboxd review too. That's
Nice.
That's a cool
Yep.
cool thing. It's time for our final rating. We're going to rate Lisa Frankenstein from 1 to 5 stars. 5 is Michael's nice penis. 1 is the creature not having a penis, his non-existent penis. But
Yeah,
it's okay. You don't need to have one of those to be a man, apparently.
No,
so.
no, it's the least important part.
You don't need one of those to be a man. It's actually like the least important part, really. We can do other things and it's fine. It's fine.
I'm going to rate Lisa Frankenstein 4.5 stars. Originally last year I saw this and I rated it 4.5, and I'm gonna stick with it. It's such a cool watch. Like it's the tone, the acting. I really love Kathryn Newton. I think she is great in this movie. Like she is a star in this movie to me. Like she comes across like perfect the way she plays it. And actually Cole Sprouse, like Nathan said, he really does a lot with, you know, the little he's really able to act and perform.
Yeah.
So I thought he was really good, and he does have that Edward Scissorhands kind of feel, and yes, the Frankenstein kind of feel too, but it's done really well in a more modernized version for sure. Obviously the 80s nostalgia I love, it hits me right, but they do it right in this. I think it's not done to like shove it down your throat. I think it's done really well. It gives you that nostalgia vibe, but it also gives you something different. So I think that's cool. And I think the story is different. You know, this is not your typical Frankenstein story. I think it is different. And it is a different love story too, because I do think it's a love story. I would rate this 5 stars. I just think it's one of those movies I don't like go back to a lot, you know, and thinking about it. But maybe I should, because I really enjoy it. Nathan, how about you?
I'm going to give this movie 3 stars. I do like it. I find it a lot of fun. I laugh a lot at it, but I think I expressed some of the stuff that didn't land with me over the course of this review. I think I sort of expressed too much of that and did not enough of talking about the stuff I do like. But I think 3 stars is it's about where I land on it. I enjoy it. I just don't love it.
That's fair. I like how you and Jill, though, had like a great discussion, I think, in this episode about, you know, your likes and dislikes, because everybody, you know, has different things they like and dislike in the same movie. So it's cool.
True.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you can see people's points of views and things. So sometimes that also helps, like when you maybe rewatch it, you're like, oh, you know, I never thought of that before or whatever. So that's cool too. Jill, finish us up.
Yeah, well, no surprise. It's going to be 5 stars from me.
I thought she was going to say
5 of
1.
them. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I do agree with something Nathan said, you know, that Jennifer's body kind of ranks up higher for him. And same with me, even though I'm going to give them both a 5-star rating. I just like them for different reasons. Jennifer's body is always going to be like the pinnacle, like my favorite horror movie. But Lisa Frankenstein, I don't even like really consider it too much horror. It's more so like horror comedy, and it's something that and romance that I kind of watch for a different reason than I would watch Jennifer's Body. It's just kind of like a comfort movie for me.
Yeah.
I think just like the nostalgia that's in there, the style I think is very unique. I don't know. I like the little comments about like emotions and how we're people who have feelings and deep feelings, and we're also people who communicate differently. And I think that's one of the things about this movie that makes it a little bit different, is that it's heavily based on not actually speaking words, and like also like learning to kind of like improve and get better at things. But also like when she's talking about her favorite movies being silent films, and I think that resonates in a lot of the artwork too, like the stuff that's cartoonish and black and white.
Actually, a little bit of foreshadowing too when you think about it.
Yeah.
Didn't think about that till just now. Sorry to interrupt your writing.
No, you're fine. I think that's a really cool little thing. And I don't know, I feel like I'm someone who has really intense feelings, and I totally kind of feel validated watching this movie because it's kind of the same thing. But I get that it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's a very fun watch. And yeah, if it seems like something that you might enjoy, check it out.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think this movie's talked about enough. Like, it seems like it's kind of forgotten about a little bit. And
yeah, I don't think it deserves that low Rotten Tomatoes score. Yeah. I really don't.
Yeah, I think it's another situation like Jennifer's Body where like the critics just
still has a bad rating.
Yeah, they don't understand it. They don't get it. But that's okay. It's not for them. It's for us. And that's what makes it special. That does it for our review on Lisa Frankenstein. We'll be back soon for another review, and just in time for St. Patty's Day, we're going to be reviewing Leprechaun 2. We might see Spicy Nathan for that one.
I've never seen it. Hey, I could love it. I don't know. I've never seen it. That's not going to happen.
I hope you bring your pot of gold.
Yeah.
But until then, your hair feels like Easter grass. No, back to the padded room with you.